Hello, folks. Welcome to Black Dragon Biker TV. And as always, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in from wherever it is in the world that you happen to be. So, for those of you who are just tuning in, please forgive me for coughing. We cover all things biker related, especially on the motorcycle set, MC protocol, and stuff like that, and biker news. Biker news you can trust. So, if you can think about it, please give us a thumbs up, a share, and a like, and hit the notification bell when you subscribe. That helps us out. And please go to our Instagram channel, Black Dragon Biker TV on Instagram, and please go there and like us. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. We are now at 2,000. So thank you very much. All right. So getting on to this thing that has happened over in Sturgis is kind of interesting. I got an email yesterday, and it was like, Black Dragon, everything was good until that purple-haired guy kicked the motorcycle, and then all hell broke loose. Could you please explain to me why bikers get so effing mad whenever you touch or sit on their motorcycles or anything like that? I thought about it. I'm like, gee, I've never made a video about that. Why bikers get so mad when you touch their motorcycle, sit on their motorcycle. I mean, we see it in all the movies. Remember Wild Hogs and all that kind of stuff. You see it in all the movies where some poor fool, some poor idiot is sitting on a biker's motorcycle when he comes out to the gas pump. There's a guy sitting on it taking pictures. And, you saw it in Sons of Anarchy. And they just beat that poor guy's natural born ass. And, I kind of laugh at it, and I kind of think to myself, well, why? Why are we so touchy about our motorcycles? Why do bikers not want you touching their bikes? And I kind of think of it as, for a biker, there is so much to the sanctity of his motorcycle. And you can be in somebody's same club, touch their bike, and get your ass whooped. In the olden days, your horse was how you made it out here in the world. Your horse gave you everything. It provided for your transportation. It helped you, like if you were trying to ride across a snow-driven plain, this horse would be your lifeline. It would help you get to where you needed to go. In a pinch, you could even shoot that sucker and eat him. And so horse thievery was rewarded with a hanging. They didn't play that back then. There wasn't no horse thieving and all that kind of stuff. That wasn't accepted. And a motorcycle is kind of like that. It represents to a biker freedom. It represents to a biker a certain escape from reality. It represents a lifestyle. And motorcycles, interestingly enough, cost lots of money. It costs lots of money to take care of them. It costs lots of money to fix them. It costs lots of money to maintain them. And motorcycles give you this key to another level. It doesn't matter what kind of motorcycle you have. If you're a racer and you got you one of them little crotch rocket thingy-mabobs that I used to ride, GSXR 1100s. Now they got 1400s. These fast crotch rockets that you lean over on and get from hither to thither in 2 or 3 seconds. And when you're as old as I am, your back is broken when you get there. Or you're on a 3-wheeler, or you're on a 4-wheeler, or you're on a Harley or whatever you're on, a Victory Vision, one of the best bikes in the entire world. It gives you this amazing ramp into a portal of another realm of reality. And that ramp to that portal, to that realm of reality, is jealously guarded and protected. A man forms a relationship with a motorcycle like a guy would with his Ferrari or airplane or little one-man submarine. You that becomes an embodiment of your spirit. And once you get that feeling, once you make that connection, you are loath to share it. You are absolutely loath to share it. I'm so funny about my motorcycle that I'm even funny about who the hell touches it and works on it. I've had the same repair shop. I've had the same repair shop. I started with them when their name was Lawrenceville Honda, and I had my gold wings. And I stayed with them all the way until they became Mountain Motorsports. And when I bought my Victory, there were just two guys that ever really let work on my bike, Good Chris and Evil Chris. Both of them were the Chris's that worked over there at Lawrenceville Honda, which eventually became Mountain Motorsports up there in Beaufort. And Evil Chris was an evil, mean, cranky curmudgeon. And Good Chris was a younger guy learning under Evil Chris, and he is just a wonderful guy, always smiling. Both of these guys, Evil Chris and Good Chris, both of these guys, just wonderful individuals. The only people I would let touch my motorcycle or their technicians. Evil Chris was the master technician there and the shop manager. So when I got my Victory, Evil Chris, with his evil ass, tells me, "We don't work on Victories." To hell you don't. Oh, we don't work on Victories. We don't work on Harleys. This is a Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha shop. We don't do that. So let me tell you something, Evil Chris. I will whoop this whole shop's ass. You're gonna work on my Victory. Nobody works on my bike but you guys. Period. You're the only folks that work on my bike. So, I don't know what you're gonna do. You might need to go get you some Victory classes. I don't know what you're gonna do. And I just pulled my motorcycle up there and left it. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do. I know that, I'm gonna need an oil change. I need my front fork seals done. I need some stuff. And I wasn't messing around. This is my motorcycle. And I don't care if your name is Mountain Motorsports now. You've been working on my motorcycles for the last 15, 16, 17 years. We're not changing up the game right now. So Good Chris and Evil Chris took my motorcycle in. They had to build tools to use it. This thing uses a lot of Allen wrenches instead of like nuts and bolts. So they had to build some sort of Allen wrench tool, and they had to weld it together. I made a video about it. I was so proud. This is the relationship. I would rather force my mechanic to learn how to work on Victories than to go to a Victory mechanic. Eventually, they hired a Victory mechanic. And I would like to think part of it was because they needed to work on my bike. Don't know why I'm coughing like this all of a sudden. So, this was the relationship. This is the thing. This is how this works. Like, no, you can't just be a fixin' on my bike. And when I go to my shop, most of my work I do myself. I've got my own shop, as you guys are seeing the Dragon Lair. I do most of the work myself, but fork seals, no thank you. Stuff like that. They had to go in and change the oil on change the gaskets and all that on my oil seals and stuff. I don't feel like dealing with all that. That's what those guys are for. And so it's that relationship. I know one damn thing. Over there at Mountain Motorsports, they're not going to put me on a motorcycle that's going to kill me. They're not going to put me on my motorcycle. They're not going to let me cheapskate out. Leave my microphone alone, man. They're not going to let me cheapskate out. They don't. Yeah, hey, man, I really don't want to spend that much. No, bro. That's what you got to spend today. They're going to make sure it's safety first. Because my life depends on this ride. And, for all of those reasons I mentioned before, these are not reasons that I would whoop your ass for getting on my bike. The reasons that I would whoop your ass for getting on my bike or for kicking my bike. And let's talk about that for a second. So this guy is riding by, and some say he swerved towards the purple hair guy. There was this purple hair guy over there at the Sturgis rally. Him and about 6 or 7 other people that were protesting. The police chief said they were local protesters. One guy had purple hair, and he was about, 6'6" at least. Just a monster walking around. And I'm 6'4", and I'm sure he was taller than I am. Big old boy with purple hair. I call him Purple Hair Guy. And Purple Hair Guy decided at one point, and listen, everybody was mad. You guys have seen the videos. Everybody was yelling. Bikers in that situation are probably mostly right-leaning bikers. They're not. Wasn't so many left-leaning bikers there. So everybody was mad, hollering. There was a Trump sign or two around. They had Trump on Rambo's body. They had the Trump head, one flag. Did you guys see that one poster? Had Trump's head on a Rambo body. And there were some rebel flags out there and stuff. Well, I saw one. So these guys were unhappy with the protesters. And everything was tenuous. Everything was kind of tenuous. Anything could have happened, but the bikers had maintained their distance. And I'm going to get to this question. Somebody just asked me, hypothetically, would you let a kid sit on your bike if the dad asked politely? Of course I would, but I'm going to get to that. So everything's going well. Okay, for as well as could be expected. There's some cursing, some people acting rudely, but nobody has put a hand on the bikers, on the protesters. Nobody's put a hand on the protesters. Everybody's been kind of cool. And all of a sudden, Purple Hair, the 6'8" wonder, decides it's a good idea to kick the passing guy's motorcycle. Did the guy pass too closely? Maybe. Did he did he startle Purple Hair Guy? Maybe. Or was Purple Hair Guy just making a big mistake that day? Whatever the case may be, he kicked that man's motorcycle. He kicked the saddlebag, some say. And you could tell that he'd actually moved the bike because the man had to put his foot down on the ground to maintain balance. And the first thing that happened was this lady shot across from the sidewalk. The first person to get to him was a lady. She was like the first one. She was like a referee, like foul. She was like throwing that flag and blowing that whistle. Just like that. And the town square erupted. And them bikers came a-flying. And the police had all they could muster to keep those guys in check. Why? Because the greatest faux pas, the greatest disrespect, the greatest insult that you could do at a biker rally, idiot purple hair guy did. Like you were trying to get your ass whooped. He kicked a bike. That's like trying to drink out of the Holy Grail. You don't do that. You don't go up and grab the chalice from the priest's hand when he's doing communion and take you a swig. That's not how you get down. When in Rome, you do as the Romans do, and these guys worship motorcycles, and you kicked one. And God should, if he had knocked that man over, they'd have probably beat him to death. The police were able to, well, they had to quell the crowd. The first thing they did was arrested that guy and took him down and put handcuffs on him. That probably saved the day. Then they got the rest of those folks out of there. And someone says, well, Black Dragon, why are you guys that way about your motorcycles? The only person that can touch my motorcycle is a club brother. Now there are other bikers that don't share this. I'm not so picky when it comes to a club brother. You're wearing my patch, you can ride my bike. It's insured. But you don't just get on my bike and ride. Bro, you better be getting over to me. Hey, Dragon, we need to move your bike. Hey, man, can I go for a ride? I've never ridden a Victory. Of course, brother. You're going to come up to me and say, hey, man, I'm out front drinking a beer. Do you mind if I sit on your bike? Be my guest. I'll ask a club brother anytime, hey, can I sit on your bike? Absolutely. I got one club brother named Vader. This guy is oh my God. I ain't never seen somebody such a little girl about their motorcycle. Like, I was the first and maybe the only human being that's ridden his bike other than himself. I remember the first time he let me ride it, I chirped the back wheel. Man, I thought I was going to have to fight that guy. He complained about it for 2 months. Then one day I begged him, come on, man, we're taking pictures of these models. We're going to have these model chicks on the bike. Come on, man, let me use your motorcycle, please. So he let me use the motorcycle for the models. This guy was crying. This guy was crying because the models were too oiled up. Man, you're getting all these greasy girls on my bike. You're looking at him like you're kidding. You got to be kidding. We've got half-naked, beautiful tins. We got half-naked tins here on the bikes with their legs all cocked up in the air, and you're talking about the oil on their bodies getting on your seat. And he was serious as a heart attack. Then, oh my God, one model left a little divot in his pipe. Man, I thought he was going to beat that model up. I thought they were going to get in a fist fight. I was like, Vader, this is just the model. She didn't know. Here we are now 5 years later, and I still got to hear about that divot. Every time he shows someone his motor, and this is where Dragon had a model on my bike and got the divot. You leave people's bikes like that, you leave them alone. You don't ever ask to use their bike again. Because they're not normal about that. They will whoop your ass. I pity the fool that would come that Vader would walk out of the store and see sitting on his bike. Holy moly. And for me, these are not reasons. That's still not the reason I'd whoop you for getting on my bike. Here's the other thing. When you take a submarine out to sea, Oh, it is the most magnificent and beautiful thing. It is. It is absolutely amazing that man has created this kind of technology. And taking a submarine out to sea is one of the greatest experiences. I miss it so much. I hate getting old and retiring and all that kind of stuff because that's something that I miss. But but you have to understand that the ocean is very unforgiving. The ocean is beautiful. And people say to me, "Man, how do you go on a ship that sinks?" Submarines don't sink, you idiot. No ship that sinks ever comes back to port. Submarines submerge and remerge. They submerge and they surface. They don't sink. How are you going to be on a submarine that sinks? They don't sink. They submerge. Chief of the watch on 1MC, dive the ship. Dive the ship, officer of the deck, aye. That's how that works. Then you dive. Then you surface. But if you do any of that wrong, then you sink. And you never come back up ever again. So you don't mess around on a submarine. You don't, they don't just have people down there touching on shit. If you're not part of the ship's crew, you're watched with a jaundiced eye when you come down there. Especially we have shipyard workers that come down. We call them yard birds. And things are dangerous down there. Like, you can't just have any old kind of person down there. There are rules down there. Like one of the rules used to be a long time ago that they would pay welders by how many welding rods they used. And eventually they found out that the welders would go down from the shipyard and they would hide welding rods down there to make it look like they had done more work than they had actually done. So we actually would have these loose ass welding rods in the rafters and places hidden, so that if you were ever involved in some kind of a situation where, like, maybe a underwater mine blew up near you and the shock waves ran through the submarine, you would have these damn welding rods flying all over the place, impaling people and hurting people and stuff like that. So we don't do that. We don't do that. You dig? You don't just have, they change those rules. Like, oh, no. We got to pay these guys a different way. Because people are corrupt. And so when you have people working on your motorcycle or touching on your motorcycle, motorcycles are just like taking a submarine to sea or an airplane to the sky. You don't just have, if you're a pilot, you got your private pilot's license, you don't have just any old fool running around your airplane, touching on it and shit, sitting on it. I wish I would come out and find someone sitting on my airplane. Man, whoop their ass. Because all you need is something to go wrong. And that's why I would whoop your ass for kicking on my bike. Your bike is set up so special. It's set up for you. You might know that the brake lever isn't working quite right. I'll never forget the day I borrowed a guy's bike, which I stopped borrowing bikes because of this. I borrowed a guy's bike. He had a Gixxer 1000. I took it down the street. I'm riding wheelies on it and everything and just loving it. Bring it back. Little did I know his front brakes didn't work. That's not something he told me. I get back, I tap the front brake, it locks up, and I drop his bike at his feet, fell flat on my face, at 2 miles an hour. That cost me $2,000 in plastics. Whew. Another thing, when you touch somebody's bike, you damn well better be ready to pay for it. These are the things about bike touching. Why people don't want you touching their bike. Costs money, man. $2,000 in plastics. God help me if I'd been going 5 miles an hour. So we don't touch people's motorcycles. I will whoop your ass because touching my motorcycle could hurt me. It could put my safety in jeopardy. You go out and sit on my motorcycle and touch something that I didn't know you touched, or screw with something I didn't know you screwed with, and I'm doing 125, 130 miles an hour on the highway, and all of a sudden you get a high-speed wobble. That's it, baby. You're going for a ride. You're going for a bad ride. So leave people's motorcycles the hell alone. On the way back from Sturgis, my buddy on an Indian, his shift lever fell off. Zip ties to the rescue. These are things that happen on motorcycles. Motorcycles are not like cars. They don't just... Cars are so much more forgiving. If you get a flat tire, you got 3 other wheels to get you to a stop. And so you're more careful. You're more careful about your well-being on your motorcycle. You're just more damn careful about it. And you will beat somebody to death about putting their hands on your recreational vehicle. Or, so for some of us, it's the only vehicle you got. Yeah, I was out riding yesterday. Somebody moved to call Berlin. I was going to send her the road that I didn't run over another one would have got me killed. Now, you know, I didn't quite understand that. You lost your audio. I hope I didn't lose my audio. So, somebody asked, would you let somebody asked me, would you let someone sit on your motorcycle if they ask politely, would you let somebody's kid? Absolutely. I take kids all the time and I sit them on the motorcycle and they get to see the motorcycle and feel the motorcycle because that's what we do. We're good people. We're not. Now, I do know some folks that, hell no, you're not touching my motorcycle. It becomes an extension of who you are. And people that are more giving, they don't mind sharing. Whereas people that are less giving, they don't share anyway. So no, you're not getting that. The most important thing is to ask, can I take a picture? Some people are like, you know, there are some cultures that believe if you take their picture, you've taken a picture of their soul. So they will whoop your ass if you take a picture of them without asking. But we all know better than that. Don't you ask before you take pictures? Hey, you mind if I take a picture with your motorcycle? Or do you mind if I take a picture of your motorcycle? No, I don't mind. Go ahead. Just don't touch it. Or yes, I do mind. Some guys have questionable motorcycles. They don't want you taking pictures of them. Like, the paperwork and stuff ain't right. So, somebody here says, if it isn't yours, don't touch it unless you ask. What's up, Bricklayer? What's up, Mama Ro? So, I just want you guys to know that there's so much that goes into our beings that are part of our motorcycle lifestyle, and it's very particular, and it's very custom, and it's very intimate. And these are the big words I want to use to say, if you touch it, I'll kick your ass. the two clubs in my town, they love it when people take pictures of their bikes. Absolutely. I love to, and for me, I have dogs that ride. My last dog, whose name was Hope Magda Charity Warrigal, mighty dog of dogs, the benevolent, great magnificent conqueror, the lion-hearted, bunch the first, conquering dog of the tribe of Judah, elect of God. She was a big Labrador pit bull mix. And she was this evil looking pit. But when people saw her sitting on the motorcycle, because, she weighed 100 pounds and she rode on the back like a person. And when people saw her sitting on the motorcycle, I would come to my motorcycle and people would be hugging her and all over her and petting her and sitting on my damn motorcycle and taking pictures of. She was an ambassador. And so, that's something I had to grow to accept, because she would suck people in like crazy. Now, he is not as furball as she was. And so people just love him because he's a little tiny. When they see him sitting on the bike, they're all over the bike. They're all around the bike. They're all over the bike. They're all over him. This is something that I have to put up with because I have a dog that rides, and not a lot of people have that. But and so I'm very, I try to be very cool to civilians. Not trying to, especially when I'm in my colors, I'm not trying to make the club look bad. So I'll be a little forgiving, but I know lots of people that are not. Somebody says, if you do not have the dollars to replace it, you don't touch anybody's motorcycle. And I have been, because I'm a YouTuber and I was formerly a national president. I've always had a larger than life kind of persona. So people have let me ride their motorcycles that would never let people ride their motorcycles before. And I used to be really bad at that. I wanted to ride every kind of motorcycle there was. So I used to just really, can I ride your motorcycle? But after I dropped that bike and it cost me $2,000. And the guy was nice enough to let me pay him over a couple paychecks, maybe 2 or 3 paychecks. Back during that time, I didn't have that money available, but I was like, listen, I promise you. And I didn't know the guy. I had just met that guy. And my friend had said, oh, that's Black Dragon. He's got the money. If he hurt your bike, he'll pay for it. Like he was co-signing for me. Like, hell, he didn't know. That's another thing. Don't co-sign for anybody. Never let somebody else talk somebody into letting somebody ride. That, that can be ugly. So I was like, well, dude, I hate to say this, but I just don't have, can you just give me like the bill and I promise I'll pay you in a couple paychecks? He let me do that. I was thankful. And I stopped like borrowing people's motorcycles that weren't in my club. Now I've abused the shit out of my club brothers, but that's what they're for. So, somebody said, my dad, let's see, YouTube Noob 2.0 said, my dad was very protective of his bike, and I'm an Australian, an Aussie. This guy's so effing lucky, seriously. Yeah, he was lucky. And he was lucky because he had the police around him. So I just wanted to make this video to let folks know that, yes, it is serious business with us. And kicking that motorcycle during that protest was, for us, the same as you bombing one of the buildings. That was a crazy, crazy move. And one that really could have got him hurt. So don't do that. Somebody said, I remember when my job was on strike a few years back, when we stood our ground against scabs, the police would turn the blind eye. Situations like that, I think the police should turn the blind eye. Wow. I don't know why I picked that one to read, but really? They let you beat up the scabs? Hypothetically, would you let a kid sit on your... Because I'm scrolling back through stuff. Yes, I would. I'm just scrolling back a little bit. Let's see. I want to make sure I answer any questions that are out there for me. You guys can start answering the questions now. I was talking back then and missed you. Burn, loot, and murder. Are you going to lose? Okay, we're talking about some other stuff now. So I think that I did well in getting my point across. Really enjoy your channel. You definitely keep it real. Much love. Thank you, keeping it real. Oh, keeping it real says that. What's up, LaRock Drifter? If you don't have the dollars, that was Mama Ro. I see you have your siren with you. Yeah, he's back there. Landlubbers are clueless. Shellbacks know more than people think. Thank you, Mills Mansion. Yes, sir. Shellbacks do know more. All right, so I think I've answered the questions. Listen, people. Just treat people like you want to be treated. It's simple. Just be good to people like you want people to be to you. You wouldn't go sit in somebody's Corvette. So, don't just go sit on somebody's motorcycle. We will whoop your ass about that. As a general population, we will whoop you quick, fast, and in a hurry for that. Wow, this is where they do testing at. Let me see if I can't get my test. This is interesting. Hey! Don't get him. Don't get him. You guys do testing here? You guys do testing for COVID-19?
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah?
7 to 9.
7 to 9. What do you got to have?
I got to do is just register.
How much does it cost?
It's free.
All right. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Oh, I just missed them. So, you guys be on your best behavior. Dog is AWOL. He don't mess with, he don't play that walking up on my car stuff. That's not what he plays. So, have to just watch the dog. But be on your treating people right game. That's all, folks. It's easy to do people the right way. If you want to protest and stuff, keep your hands to yourself, and my God, keep your feet to yourself. I really am glad the police were there, because that guy kicking a motorcycle in the middle of a motorcycle festival would have got his natural ass torn up. And I don't even think he realized he did it so offhandedly. I don't even think he realized what the rub was. And the rub was, bro, that move won't flow. We don't get down like that around these here parts. So, I don't know. We got to treat each other better. Mike Duncan, are you in Georgia? My best friend's name is Mike Duncan. Oh, somebody's talking to Mike Duncan. Hey, cough, cough. You guys do testing? Yeah, but I was talking inside my car, and he had a mask on and a face shield for people like me. All right. Doing to others as you would have them do unto you, someone said. All right. Listen, we have gear, blackdragonsgear.com. Please go over there and check us out. And please help us get our Instagram following up to 10,000. Please go to Black Dragon Biker TV on Instagram and subscribe and follow us, please, over there. We got 2,000 subscribers now. I want to thank you guys for helping me get there. We had like maybe 1,100 a few days ago, so we're already up to 2,000. Thank you to all of you who have helped me with that. And somebody said, did you notice that the first person to approach pink hair was a woman? Actually, it was purple hair, I think. And yes, I did notice that. That woman was on him real fast. BlackBikerLiberty.com is our online news magazine, and our our podcast is the Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Chaos. You get wherever you find your podcasts. And we just really want to thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us. That's my 2 cents. Please leave your 2 cents in the comment section down below. I'm Black Dragon. Keep your hands to yourself. Stay off other people's motorcycles. And that way you won't get beat up. Thanks for tuning in. And get skinny. Dog, you gonna fall off this car, man? Yeah, get back in here. What are you doing?